Let's get to the lightweights. 155-pounders. Number one lightweight in the world is the UFC lightweight champion, Smooth Benson Henderson. He'll take on Nate Diaz 1 week from Saturday night, December the 8th. Main event, UFC on Fox. Are you kidding me or what? Henderson, Diaz? Woo! What a fight. Did I not tell you December was going to be sick? Have I not been hammering that home enough? Get ready for December and stay tuned in to Ringside Report Radio all December because we're going to be breaking down all these fights and telling you what you need to know, giving you the winners, and making you money at the same damn time. Number 2, lightweight in the world, Frankie the Answer Edgar. 14 wins, 3 losses. He'll drop to 145 on February the 2nd to fight Jose Aldo for the featherweight title, but until he does, he's still a lightweight by our standards. At number 3, Gray Maynard, 11-1. With 1 draw, 1 no contest. Maynard was supposed to fight Joe Lozon on the 29th of this month. He pulled out due to injury. Lozon will now fight Jim Miller. Maynard, though, remains at number 3 in the world. Number 4 in the world, the Strikeforce champion, Gilbert Melendez, El Nino. 21 wins, 2 losses. His next fight just got canceled, so I guess we're waiting and seeing what Melendez does next. At number 5 in the world, 16-7, he's the number 1 contender in the UFC lightweight division, Nate Diaz from Stockton, California. At number 6, Anthony Pettis, 15 wins, 2 losses. Pettis will fight Donald Cerrone on January 26th at UFC on Fox 6. At number 7, Clay Guida. Guida is another one of these top 10 lightweights that'll be dropping down to 145 pounds in his next bout. So Guida on January 26th fights Hatsu Hioki at UFC on Fox 6. So January, February, we start doing those rankings. We're going to have some real open spots here at lightweight. Guida's moving down. Edgar's moving down. Those are 2 top 10 lightweights that are moving down to the featherweight division. Featherweight just got more crowded, and the lightweights, I think, maybe got a little bit easier. Just a little bit. Still a stacked division. So we have Guida at number 7. At number 8, we have Jim Miller, 21-4. He fights Joe Lozon on the 29th. At number 9, Donald Cerrone. As I mentioned, he fights Anthony Pettis on January 26th. And at number 10, the undefeated Bellator champion, coming off a win over Akihiro Gono on May the 4th for Bellator, he'll fight Rick Hahn at some point in 2013. Rick Hahn won the Bellator lightweight tournament, and he'll face Michael Chandler at some point. So Chandler at number 10, the Bellator champ, and in honorable mentions we have Rafael Dos Anjos, George Masvidal, Joe Lozon, Edson Barbosa, Eddie Alvarez, Takanori Gomi, and Shinya Aoki. Those guys I would consider top 20 in the world, not quite in that top 10, but that's why we give them honorable mentions. At 145 pounds now, the number 1 featherweight in the world, the UFC champ, 21-1, Jose Aldo Jr. He'll take on Frankie Edgar on February 2nd at UFC 156. At number 2 in the world, Chad Money Mendez, 12-1. He takes on Hakran Diaz on December 15th. That will be a tremendous fight. That Hakran Diaz, who's right now an honorable mention, if he wins that fight, he can jump right into the top 5, and Diaz is looking phenomenal. This guy Hakran Diaz is the real deal, and the UFC did very well in putting him up against Chad Mendes. That fight makes a lot of sense. You might be saying, well, Mendes is number 2 in the world and Diaz is unranked. Well, he's only unranked because he's had one fight in the UFC where he looked phenomenal. This guy's the real deal. Get ready for Hakran Diaz. He could be the next one at featherweight. At number 3 in the world, 13-1, Eric Koch. He's set to fight Ricardo Lamas on January 26th. That'll be a great fight. At number 4 in the world, the Korean Zombie, 13-3, Chen Sung Jung. At number 5, 12-2, Ricardo Lamas. As I mentioned, he'll fight Eric Koch on the 26th of January. At number 6, 18-5, Cub Swanson. He beat Charles Oliveira in a brilliant TKO on September 22nd at UFC 152. He's still waiting on his next opponent. At number 7, 26-5, Hatsu Hioki, fighting Clay Guida on January 26th. What a fight that is. Hioki Guida, my goodness. Darren Elkins, 8th overall. At featherweight, 15 wins, 2 losses. A brilliant decision victory over Steven Seiler on November 17th here in Montreal at UFC 154. At number 9 in the world, 17-3, Diego Nunes. He'll take on Nick Lentz on January 19th in his next bout. UFC on FX 7 is the card. And at number 10 in the world, 17-4, the Bellator featherweight champion Pat Curran. He'll take on Patricio Pitbull at some point, hopefully soon, but most likely early part of 2013. So those are the top 10 featherweights in the world. Given honorable mentions to Joe Warren, Marlon Sandro, Bart Palashevsky, Patricio Pitbull Freire, Yuri Alcantara, Dennis Siver, Hakran Diaz, Pablo Garza, Dustin Poirier, and Charles Oliveira. So those are 10 guys that pretty much make up the top 20. Those honorable mentions right there, they're top 20 guys at 145 pounds.